This program is brought to you by the Cultural Council for Palm Beach County. Visit palmbeachculture.com. And by Discover the Palm Beaches. Visit thepalmbeaches.tv for more information. Additional support provided by the Gardens Mall.
All year long, visitors from far and near come to discover and experience the cultural richness, natural diversity, and artistic flair that permeate Palm Beach County, Florida. The perfect destination for an avid art adventurer. Come journey with me, your adventure guide and storyteller, Shelli Lockhart, as we uncover some very special places to go, things to do, and amazing people to meet right here in the Palm Beaches. The art of nature. Adventure with us into the inspired gardens of the Palm Beaches, where life inspires art and art inspires life. We all share a unique connection with Mother Nature. She inspires us to nurture, sustain, and protect her. Let us adventure together into the art of nature, where we will be visiting some of the most beautiful gardens of the Palm Beaches. These are special places where we can engage our creative spirit of play and relaxation, wonder and learning, seeing, and in this hectic world, just being. Come on, take a moment to smell the roses. The art of nature, Palm Beach County style, is calling us. The gentle clip, clip, clip of groundskeepers tending to sculptured foliage, the creaking and rustling of wind through the bamboo grove, and the soft crashing sounds of the waterfall. This is what the art of nature sounds like in a Japanese garden. We're here at one of the Palm Beach's most treasured cultural attractions, Murakami Museum and Japanese Gardens in Delray Beach, Florida. What makes a Japanese garden unique among the different kinds of gardens that we've been exploring? Adventurers, we are about to find out. Hello, Heather. Thank you so much for hosting Art Adventures of the Palm Beaches. Heather Grisbeck is the curator here at Murakami, and she is going to be our tour guide today as we explore this Japanese garden exhibit.
Konnichiwa, Shelli. Even if one knows little about Japanese culture, with just one visit to the Murakami, one will have a much deeper understanding about Japanese culture and heritage.
Heather, how did you become a curator for a Japanese garden?
Well, my background is in parks and recreation with a specialization in natural resources. However, to become a garden curator, I worked under Hoichi Kurisu, Master Garden Designer of Kurisu International.
And he designed these gardens.
Yes, he did. You can feel his inspiration in the design as more of a contemporary interpretation of a Japanese garden.
So adventurers, we are going to mingle with the ancient masters and learn a little bit about Japan right here in the Palm Beaches.
The 6 distinct historical gardens here at the Murakami are ranked among the top 10 in North America. Collectively, Hoichi Kurisu named the garden Roji-en, the Garden of the Drops of Dew. In the morning, if you're here, there may be nice droplets of dew, but as that sun rises, that dew disappears.
That must have been really important to him to kind of stay in that moment of pause to name the garden the Drops of Dew so that we can all kind of just take some time and appreciate nature.
It's that moment of appreciation that really brings the beauty to a Japanese garden.
We all need to take a little time to stop and smell the roses.
Shelli, do you notice how the branches on this are kind of invading the path a little bit?
Yeah.
very, very intentional. And what it does is for the visitor experience, it creates movement, which engages the mind a little bit different and gives a different garden experience.
In a regular garden, probably they would have cut back the branches so that everything stays off of the path. So if somebody cut it by accident, how would you feel about that?
I personally would feel absolutely devastated. There has been years and years of training and professional pruning that has gone into shaping the future. Have you noticed on our path walking that there's curves and there's creativity and the asymmetry and also the rest and the pause?
Yeah, that's kind of like if you were writing beautiful music or if you were painting.
Exactly.
I really sense that Murakami has a deep respect for nature and for the land. It's a very special place. But where does the name Murakami come from?
As we walk through the Kodaiman Gate, the official welcome gate into the gardens, we'll take a step back in time. The Murakami Museum and Japanese Gardens traces its heritage to the historic Yamato colony of Japanese settlers that lived in Palm Beach County 100 years ago. Can you imagine what it was like then when in 1906, a young Tsukeiji George Murakami immigrated to the U.S. to join the Yamato colony? Joe Sakai of Miyazu, Japan, had invited a small group of Japanese farmers to establish a farm community and use Flagler's East Coast Railroad to ship their produce. Only 19 years old, Murakami planned to earn a fortune and return to Japan. Instead, he planted his roots in Florida. As time passed, he accumulated land in Delray Beach, and in 1967, George became a U.S. citizen. By the time he was well into his 80s, George had amassed over 200 acres and donated his land to Palm Beach County. George died in 1976, a year after the groundbreaking for Murakami Park, which became home to the Murakami Museum and Japanese Gardens, where we walk today. Visitors can come and learn more of the garden's Japanese heritage inside the original museum known as the Yamato-kan. So Heather, this is a beautiful garden, but it is completely different from anything else that we have seen here at Murakami. It's called the Late Rock Garden, is that right? Yes, you're right. This is known as the Late Rock Garden. It's a Karatsunsui garden, which means dry mountain water. So it's as if that faraway mountain, water has come from there and just kind of come to be here in this location.
So tell me kind of what we're experiencing here with all the rocks.
So the patterns that you see are kept very, very simple, and that's to make sure that they don't outshine the rest of the garden. If your eye is only hitting, you know, something busy and crazy here in the dry garden, then you're not really appreciating the whole garden. So tell me, Shelly, when you were raking, what were you thinking about?
I really wasn't thinking about anything. Did I miss something?
No, I'm actually really happy to hear that. Raking a rock garden like this is a wonderful practice in mindfulness or being in the present moment. So Shelly, these types of gardens have been tended by monks in temples and shrines since the 14th century. It's a fabulous practice in mindfulness. The work is kept simple and repetitive, allowing the mind to meditate while a very simple task is being done.
Heather, it's time to go back to reality. Thank you so much for being our tour guide today.
And Shelly, arigato. Thank you so much for spending time in Roji-en with me today.
Art adventurers, it's time for us to move on. There's so much more to see here at Murakami. I know that I will be back. In the meantime, be sure to practice your rock raking. The adventure is on. And we could not have found a better example of a world-class botanical garden to explore than Mount's Botanical Garden in Palm Beach County, Florida. This is a 14-acre tropical paradise where visitors like us can come year-round to just enjoy and stroll through what is basically a living plant museum. There are 25 unique botanical gardens here. Adventurers, keep in mind that the botanical gardens that we're about to discover represent 100 years of academic guidance, community support, and helping hand. I'm so excited that today we're going to get to chat with Mount's garden curator and director, Rochelle Wahlberg, and Joel Crippen, who's a master gardener and display gardens horticulturist. Let's go and meet Rochelle. Hey, Rochelle.
Hey, Shelly.
It is a great day for an art adventure in nature. Thank you so much for hosting us.
We are so excited to be hosting you in Our Adventures in Nature. We have such a big story to share. And I thought we'd begin your tour here in our Garden of Tranquility. It's an example of how we use art, space, and nature to come together in an eco-friendly garden. And I want you to notice the natural elements of stone, wood, our living plant material, and bamboo. This garden was designed by Joel Crippen, our horticultural display.
And we're going to meet Joel in just a little bit. There's a lot of history here at Mount's Botanical Garden. I understand that it was named after Marvin Red Mounts.
That's right, Shelly. Red is one of Palm Beach County's original and most famous agriculturalists. He served our county for over 40 years, educating Florida farmers in modern farming methods and animal husbandry. And he actually established the garden's early collection of over 69 fruit trees, which provided a resource educating Florida families to address vitamin deficiencies in our community. And we have over 25 display gardens here. We tend to 5,000 plant species, which include cycads, our palm trees, succulents, edibles, ferns. There's a surprise in store for visitors as they turn from one garden to the next, and that's in keeping with our mission to educate and inspire through nature.
I love this sculpture of the mother and child.
It's one of my favorites, Shelly. Educating Sarah was designed by local artist Robert St. Croix, and it was gifted to us by Daphne Shearhouse. She was one of our board members and an active volunteer in our children's programming. So such an appropriate gift for the garden.
One of the sculptures that we'll be seeing throughout the garden, and a nice reminder that you can bring your kids.
Absolutely, yes.
So it seems a botanical garden really is a lot more than just a pretty face. I've been noticing all of the signs around that really talk about the specific botanical name for each plant.
Yes, we're in the midst of our Garden of Well-Being, and botanical gardens play a central role in meeting human needs, both spiritually and practically. And our Garden of Well-Being was designed by Holly Shimizu. She was a garden consultant to First Lady Barbara Bush, and she also served as the prior director for the National Botanic Garden in Washington, D.C.
Some pretty heavy hitters around here.
Yes, her specialization was medicinal gardens, and our garden is truly a medicinal garden. Joel, perfect timing. We thought we'd find you here. Meet Shelly, the host of Art Adventures of the Palm Beaches. And Shelly, I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of master garden designer Joel Crippen to tell you more about our amazing Garden of Well-Being.
Joel, great to meet you. Everything is beautiful and the herbs smell so good. Please tell us more.
Medicinal plants are the gift of art of nature, and these plants have been my fascination for many years. This particular plant is a peanut butter fruit.
Peanut butter?
Yeah, what's amazing about it is it produces an orange fruit that has the texture and the flavor of peanut butter. And it's critical for people who have peanut allergies, but they want to enjoy the taste of peanut butter.
So it's not actually a nut?
No, and it's perfectly safe.
So we can jump in and taste it. All right, Joel, this must be the beautiful butterfly garden. Look at all the flowers.
Yeah, this is full of wonderful pollinators, hummingbirds, bees, butterflies, that all help improve the health and the environment that we live in.
It is very pretty to look at.
It's just more than that. It's a living laboratory. We're affiliated with the University of Florida's Palm Beach County Cooperative Extension Program. And as part of that program, there's done research to help improve agriculture, sustainability, and to improve our world for the future. Here we are at the edible garden.
So this looks like salad, like my lettuce.
Yes.
What is this little ground cover here, Joel?
Here, smell it and try it. Recognize it?
Oh, that's like oregano.
Ah,
Okay, I've cooked
exactly.
with that.
Yeah, you cook with that.
And
Now
what-
try this one. Recognize that?
No idea.
This is fennel.
Wow, that has a really strong smell.
Sort of a licoricey
Yeah.
flavor. They use this a lot in like salads and give it a little zip. So we have many other herbs here that you can see. There's rosemary and there's dill. Here, try this. See if we can guess what that is.
That is mustard.
That is mustard. That's mustard green.
That's a
So that-
spicy mustard.
This is another amazing plant. It's something that you know, but in a different way. Smell that.
It smells lemony.
Yeah, this is lemon basil.
Oh, you can smell both of them, actually.
Yes.
You can smell the
So-
lemon and the basil.
This is called cardoon. And people would think, oh no, that's artichoke. Well, the difference between this and artichoke is you eat the leaves and not the flower head like you do on an artichoke.
All right, so I ate this, you eat that. That's a dare. I can tell we have gotten to the mint because I can smell it.
Yes, Mounts grows a large selection of mints, but it's a drop in the bucket to the 600 varieties that are out there.
Silly me, I thought there was one kind of mint.
Here, try this. See what it tastes like.
Orange.
Orange. This one's a great one. Mints are amazing. It's a chef's delight. Use them in soups, salads.
Chocolate.
Yes, chocolate. Obviously dessert.
Yeah.
Here's another great one.
Pineapple.
Yeah, pineapple, yes.
Who knew?
And also you can use them in beverages. And this one, you might particularly like.
I think you're speaking my language now. That says mojito, by the way.
Yes.
Bring on the rum.
This is the true mojito mint. Most people use spearmint, but this is actually a Cuban mint, and they invented the mojito. And it's a milder taste, and it's perfect. Mounts is all about teaching people how to grow in South Florida. And we have,
me.
even you. And we have something very special for you.
Oh, thank you, Rochelle. Thank you, Joel. This is very ambitious, but I am going to try to grow these. I think after today, my little brown thumbs may be turning green. We are here at the historic home, artist studio, and beautiful sculpture gardens of the late artist and famous sculptor, Ann Weaver Norton. The Ann Norton Sculpture Gardens are a hidden gem in West Palm Beach, Florida, an oasis of art in nature, which represents an artist's legacy to the Palm Beaches. And here, art explorers, we are going to find a remarkable story about one woman's dream and her lifelong romance with sculpture and gardens. Frances, thank you so much for hosting Art Adventures of the Palm Beaches. It is wonderful to be here at the Ann Norton Sculpture Gardens. I can actually imagine Ann welcoming people in the 1950s in this beautiful room.
Shelli, it's a pleasure to have you and Art Adventures of the Palm Beaches with us today. Thank you. This is a place of a visionary female artist. She would not believe what has happened in the last 70 years around this beautiful property.
As the chairperson, Frances, what does it mean to you to be a part of this organization and work with the Ann Norton Sculpture Gardens?
It's near and dear to my heart. It has all the elements, the nature, art, and history. The fact that we can serve this community, which was also so special to Ann Norton. And I have a personal connection that makes it all the more valuable to me. I knew many of Ann Norton's relatives, grew up hearing stories about her as an independent and talented young woman pursuing her dreams. And I grew up in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. She grew up in Dallas County, Alabama, Selma. So I knew so much about her before I ever found West Palm Beach, Florida. In a nutshell, Ann Norton was a strong, courageous woman.
And it's so important to know a little bit about the background of these artists as we find out all the influences and why her work is so diverse.
Well, to really understand Ann Norton, we'll need to go back to Selma, Alabama. It was May 2nd, 1905, just after the turn of the century, when Annie Vaughan Weaver arrived in Dallas County, Selma, Alabama. She was born into a triad of Mentor, Weaver, Vaughan, prominent landowning families who were early pre-Civil War settlers. Ann's early inspirations came from childhood experiences growing up among the culture of the farming families on her grandfather's farm, Emerald Place. Shelli, Ann Norton wrote and illustrated her way through the Great Depression, pursuing her passion as an artist by writing and illustrating children's books about those she loved from the Deep South. So I'm reading from Pappy King. Pappy was a famous gardener with a childlike heart who could raise such fine roses, violets, lilies, and oleanders. No one can make them grow so tall and so strong or bloom so beautifully as Pappy King.
From author and illustrator to sculptor, how did Ann get from Selma, Alabama to New York City to West Palm Beach, Florida?
Well, as we know, it was very difficult for a female artist to make her way in New York City, and Ann Norton really made a name for herself and under some of the best sculptors at the time in the modernist movement. She came hat in hand, about 50 cents in her pocket, with a job offer from Ralph Norton at what was then the Norton School of Art, and she embraced it and welcomed the opportunity to learn what she had learned from the greatest sculptors at that time. Perhaps you can imagine this Southern belle pursuing her way in New York City at a time when women did not have the right to vote.
Frances, I love the story that you have been sharing. I feel like it really prepares us for the experience that we're about to have in the Sculpture Garden.
Here we're standing next to Untitled Horizontal Sculpture, which Ann Norton completed in 1979. It's made of brick. For each monumental sculpture that Ann created out in the gardens, she chose a specific kind of brick and had them all handcrafted. We believe that Ann's passion for bricks came from her upbringing in Selma, Alabama, where a lot of the homes and buildings were crafted from brick.
So we continue to see her past influencing her work.
Absolutely.
I'm sure that everybody interprets things differently. Over here we see a little bit of cubism, and then here maybe a little bit more primitive influence.
Yes, this is a piece called Seven Beings that Ann did. It's Norwegian granite. This was a sculpture that she created in honor of her husband. It's her love letter to him. It's the seven beings. They're neither human nor animal. It's up to you to interpret them as you see fit. The Norwegian granite has been hand chiseled and smoothed to perfection, revealing the sparkle in the stone. She was a small woman with big dreams. She thought big, so she would get up on scaffolding, and she was here. We have photographs of her hand chiseling and hand carving and doing all of the direct work on the piece herself, creating this incredible finish.
That really speaks to her personality and her presence as an artist. So Margaret, how did all the sculptures get here?
Well, Ann in the 1970s built all these in situ out of brick that she had imagined specific colors for each piece. She referred to these as her gateways. Gateway meaning to transport you to another place. She never liked to title her works. She liked them to be interpreted by the observer. So Anne just really felt like she wanted this to be a place that people were uplifted by, and she wanted people to just happen upon them and have their experience and have it be a joyful one.
You can really sense here in the garden that this is a marriage of art and nature.
The setting for Anne's artwork here is a rare palm and cycad garden. We have over 250 species of rare palms and cycads that form this green background. The marriage between the art and nature is what we use in all of our programming that we share with our community. Our children's education programs, the children are brought into the gardens, they learn about art, history, and the environment. And as far as the community goes, the same extension goes out. We have visiting exhibitions for artwork, we have tours of the gardens, we do programming with lectures, and we really have managed to take all pieces of Anne's interest and passion and share it with the community through our programming.
I know one of the things that you see here is her actual artist studio, which was a gift to her from her husband.
That's correct. Ralph Norton had the artist studio built in 1948 by Marion Sims Wyeth for Anne as their wedding gift, the year of their wedding.
As you look around, it really is just a love affair with art, with her husband, with the community, and with her legacy giving back to the Palm Beaches.
This program is brought to you by the Cultural Council for Palm Beach County. Visit palmbeachculture.com. And by Discover the Palm Beaches. Visit thepalmbeaches.tv for more information. Additional support provided by the Gardens Mall.